So you're worried when you go into your TV or your radio or your audio studio. You get a little bit nervous. As we looked at a couple of 3 days ago, some nerves may be good. It could actually improve your performance sometimes, but you get a feeling of discomfort. You get a little bit worried. Is that nerves? Is it stress? Is it anxiety? Or is it something else? That's what we're going to be looking at over the next few days on Get a Better Broadcast podcast and Voice Over Voice. Because as I've said throughout this whole series of short daily podcast episodes, everything you do, how you sit, how you feel, affects your voice, and is as much what goes on in your head that affects your voice as everything else. I mean, yeah, breathing is the key thing, but also it is the mind that affects what you sound like too, and the tone of your voice can also be a window on how you're feeling, what you're thinking, and how comfortable you are in that studio situation. So if it's not nerves or stress or anxiety, it may be something else. I mean, let's not just stick with feeling nervous. There are other feelings and emotions which may arise in and around a studio and affect your voice. Sometimes, yeah, they could be just temporary feelings. Sometimes they can last a long time. Now, I'm not a health professional, and I would always urge you to get personalised advice from someone who is, whether you're experiencing these emotions yourself or, and this is really important, you see them in a colleague, you see them in a friend. Because we've got to look out for each other, yeah? We've got to be aware of what other people are going through. And what may seem to you originally and at first as, oh, they're a little bit nervous going to the studio, may actually be a sign of something else that you may be able to help yourself or someone else cope with and sort out. I mean, if you work as a news broadcaster, you'll be exposed to so much more evidence of the world's problems than most other people. Not just man's inhumanity to man, wars, violent crime and so on, but the day in, day out grind of news of political tussles, economic worries, worldwide pandemics, sudden celebrity deaths and more. And more, and more, day after day. And with many of these issues, the journalist sees or reads much more detail in terms of violence or hate than is ever passed on to listeners and viewers. I know, I've seen court reports, and I've had to make that decision what to broadcast and what not to broadcast. And such ongoing exposure, I am certain, can lead to severe anxiety, depression, perhaps even PTSD. Perhaps it can summon up feelings that you've had before. Care home abuse, for example, and a story about that, if maybe a relative is also currently in a care home. You may feel these emotions, and others may hear them in your voice, which may become flat, tired, thin and strained, lacking resonance. You may lose confidence and concentration, tripping up over words. So it's not studio stress, it's not mic fright, you're not nervous going into the studio. It could be something more serious. Severe anxiety, depression, PTSD. And that means that you need to get another kind of help, doesn't it? Tomorrow, it may not be nerves, it may be studio claustrophobia. Seriously, we'll talk about it tomorrow as Get a Better Broadcast podcast and Voice Over Voice continues. From London, I'm Peter Stewart.